Ethics. What is it? In this video, I want to do 4 main things. I want you to learn what meta-ethics is, what applied ethics is, what normative ethics is, and what questions or problems can be ethical. For that, I want to talk to you about contingency. Let's get started. What is ethics? It's a field in philosophy. A subfield in philosophy is called ethics. And ethics is the field in philosophy in which you are thinking about right and wrong conduct. Right and wrong conduct. What does that even mean? One thing you might be doing in ethics is thinking about background questions. Meta means something that's not limited by, something that's beneath or beyond or above. What's meta goes deeper than something surface layer. And when you're thinking about right and wrong behavior, you might be thinking about questions like, what does it even mean for a behavior to be wrong? What does it even mean for something to be a bad thing to do? That's a meta-ethical question. Meta-ethics is a subfield underneath ethics that asks questions about the meaning of ethical terms. Not only does meta-ethics deal with the meaning of ethical terms, but also the origin of ethical terms or ethical ideas, ethical concepts like righteousness, an act that's right, an act that's good, something that you should do. Where do we even get those ideas? You're also asking about objectivity. In ethics, you're asking questions about right and wrong behavior. In meta-ethics, you're asking background questions like, is what I think is right for everybody? Is what I think is unethical applicable to other people or to people in a different place or to people in the same place as me but in a different time? Is ethics objective or subjective? That's a meta-ethical question. Okay, so the meaning and the origin and objectivity level of ethical concepts fall under meta-ethics. Just like meta-ethics is a kind of way to think about right and wrong behavior, normative ethics is another kind of way to be thinking about ethics, right and wrong behavior. In normative ethics, you're thinking about the norms. Think about what's normal. Then you're thinking about the standards, the regular ways that people do things, standards. You're thinking about the rules. And in normative ethics, you are getting the rules for right or wrong conduct. Like, these are different theories or different normative ethics that tell you how you should behave to behave in the right way. So that's meta-ethics, that's normative ethics, and there's a third one. There's a third subfield underneath ethics. And that third subfield is called applied ethics. And this is exactly what you think it is. It's when you take your ethical theory and then you apply it to a particular situation. So this is when you do something like saying, this particular action, whatever it is, and then the value of right or wrong, let's just say wrong or right, because I'm not sure which one you think doing X is, but take any action. In applied ethics, you are saying that an action is right or wrong based on some normative theory. You can't do applied ethics unless you have, whether you know it or not, some normative ethical theory in your mind. Because to do applied ethics is to take an ethical theory, compare it to the action, and then see if that action is wrong or right based on the rules for good behavior in that particular normative ethical theory. here's what I want to do. I want to rewrite this, and I'm going to erase that. Okay. So this stayed the same. I got rid of the meta-ethics, and I applied ethics over here. In applied ethics, you are applying your ethical theory. You're saying something like, according to a particular normative ethical theory, this action is wrong because it fails to meet the rules from the normative theory. There's lots of different normative theories. There's the one from Immanuel Kant, deontology. There's the one from Jeremy Bentham, more maybe famous by John Stuart Mill, utilitarianism. There's the one that's from Aristotle, virtue ethics. There's the one that religious people love, divine command theory. There's lots of different normative ethical theories. There's lots of different ways to have a rule book on how to behave. You take any one of those normative ethical theories and you have a set of rules for figuring out what the right thing is to do. And every time you are saying that some action is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do based on a theory, you're doing applied ethics. Somewhere in the background are meta-ethical questions like, what does it even mean? You say something's wrong, what does it even mean for it to be wrong? Before we move on to the fourth and final thing, let's go over the first three things. Ethics is all about right and wrong behavior. And it can be broken down into meta-ethics, normative ethics, or applied ethics. All three of these are related, but do slightly different things when it comes to right and wrong behavior. I want to leave you with a fourth and final piece of information about ethics. The questions that you have that are ethical questions are always questions about something contingent. The ethical problems that you have are ethical problems because there's something about it that's contingent. What is contingency? Let's think about this. What does it mean for something to be necessary? Necessary means that some action can not happen, right? It cannot not happen. It has to happen. It's necessary. That's what necessary means, right? Think about this third word. Other than contingency and necessity, think about possibility, necessary or possible. What does something that is possible get described as? Not something that cannot not happen, but something that can happen. Doesn't have to happen, but can happen. And there's a difference between what's possible and what's plausible. So really, if you take this word seriously, what is possible is what can technically happen. What is necessary is something that cannot not happen. And something that is contingent is something that is not necessary and something that is possible. Those are the things that are contingent. Something that does not have to happen but can happen. And then that's contingent. You can then ask, should I do it? Should it happen? Something that has to happen, something that's necessary, it doesn't make sense to ask whether we should do it because it's going to happen. And something that's not possible, it doesn't make sense to ask whether we should do it because it's not able to be done. But when something is possible, but is not necessary, that makes it contingent, and that means we can ask this question, should we, or should I, or should you? And this should we, that's when you're in the realm of ethics. Should we do this thing? Because we can and we don't have to. Would it be the right thing to do? And then you would ask questions like, what does it even mean for it to be the right thing? And which normative ethical theory should we use to figure out whether it's the right thing? and then we could apply our ethical theories to say that it is or is not the right thing. So that's the fourth and final thing I wanted to say.